Welcome to another episode of Rose Resource Room. Today I'm here with some fabulous people who you probably already know, but this is Rose Resource Room and you see Ginger with Chatting with Chap. So before we jump in, I just wanted to give a moment to Sara and Alicia to share what they have been working up. Every single thing that you saw happen at the convention is a result of these three amazing ladies you are seeing right now. So Sara, can you just kind of tell us what you do for CHAP and all the things you did to make convention happen?
Okay, so first off, let's set the record straight. It's not just me. But yes, we have a amazing planning team. So my husband and I are the coordinators for the convention, and we have a wonderful team. So we planned the event. It took us about 10 months coordinating all the details together, and it was such a blessing to see it all come together this past weekend.
And I never think it's too early to do a plug. We need volunteers. We need people. We
Always.
need boots on the ground. So if you're interested in making convention happen or making CHAP continue to run smoothly, please, 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 we'll let you know at the end how to connect with us. Let us know that you're interested. Alicia.
Yeah, so it was so exciting I know Sara and Jeremy have been working so hard on this project. And I mean, we were meeting with potential speakers and vendors way back in September. And, we have monthly meetings where they're talking about, what's getting accomplished and what still needs done. So to just see that all finally come together and to see all of the people that were able to come and enjoy that. I mean, we had people from all over Pennsylvania, but then we have people from New Jersey and Maryland and Connecticut and West Virginia. And so just to be able to support people on that level is just amazing. It's astonishing what they can accomplish and to just be so enthusiastic and so persevere through all of the things to get that accomplished is just so exciting to see. So it was a wonderful convention. So fun. So fun.
That is awesome to hear. What's your role with CHAP and what did you do to help bring the convention together?
So, what is my role with CHAP, right? That's always a question we get. So my husband and I kind of help wherever is needed. So we have kind of just pulled up and helped whatever is needed wherever we can help and utilize. So this year we helped bring back homeschool Capital Day at the Capitol. So that was an awesome experience. And that was a way for us to also share the convention was happening with folks. That was one of the feedbacks we got from was we would love to hear more speakers. And it's like, well, actually, we have a whole weekend dedicated to that. So come and hear all these wonderful speakers. So we also help with the homeschoolpennsylvania.org website that has all the law information and all the how-to information. And that's another way we can kind of direct people to convention and share those resources. And then we are just answering questions on a regular basis that families have. So again, it's also great to meet people in person and answer those questions in person because I'd much rather do it in person than via the internet, but it is a way to connect with people. So that's what we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And again, like these women and their husbands and their families have just been so amazing to make this happen. And I know like Sara will tell me 100 times that she's not like, one of the key people making it happen. So I love your humility. But what I will say is you had so much to do. And what really amazed me about the weekend is regardless of how much pressure or change or transition that happened, you still had a smile on your face. And I'm like, I need to talk to her kids. Like, is she like this in real life? Like, is she even human? Like, who does that? You just have this amazing grace about you. And I just think it's so beautiful to watch. And that's probably why there's so many people willing to help because it's easy working with all of you. So congratulations on being amazing stewards and just showing what God's people should look like. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Ro.
All righty. So I thought we could just like hop on, do a recap of convention and say like, what do we love about the convention? Maybe something that we learned or a takeaway or like just any general thought. Ginger, did you want to kick us off?
I sure can. So, if you didn't know, Wednesday of last week, I had no voice. It was completely gone. Thursday, I could squeak a few words, and Friday, a little more. And now I'm to the point where I can almost talk. But what that did was bring about some very interesting situations and opportunities. So, I had two talks scheduled for Thursday. and I would call them a basic law talk. I'm frequently mentoring and talking about the law. So I tapped my good friend Sara on the shoulder because she's been homeschooling for a while and said, hey, how about you do this for me? And I'll just squeak out stuff to help you out. And so that was really great because it gave Sara an opportunity to do something she's always wanted to do. But it still enabled us to reassure people about these things in the law, like to cancel my husband said, well, we can just cancel them. I'm like, oh no, because there's people who are going to be coming there who need that support. So that's one of the things I love about convention is like Alicia said, the one-on-one conversations where you can supply support. So even though I was squeaking, if you didn't see me on Thursday, I had a dry erase board on this dry erase board trying to help people and talk to people about their different questions and stuff like that. So that's always one of my favorite parts. Of course, Heidi saying John, like, bucket list, ching, so she like I said, she's straight fire and she brings it. And I've talked to a number of people that were very convicted about what she said. I mean, she said some stuff that I was right there. Like, I wonder what she means by that, right? Like, you knew what she was saying, right? She was right out with it. And I did talk to a dad and a few other folks that were just like, wow, like he was just, now I have to go tell my wife this because, they were wondering about this decision they had to make. And he had no doubt after listening to that, what he should do. And that's the kind of stuff, that's what we want to happen. We want, one of the reasons we have these speakers in is to bring that conviction into our hearts to know what it is that God's calling us to do, but also to be encouraged to do it. So there was a lot of encouragement, a lot of just relief. There's always relief. I always encounter people that are full of relief. I also really loved, we had a prayer booth in a very visible spot this year, and the Factos were there, and they were praying and mentoring and walking very closely with people who came for that help. And that I just feel more and more like having Jay worship step us off with worship and more prayer and have that be a focus in what we're doing is so vital, because the whole atmosphere is not getting more friendly to things. It's becoming more like a battle. And so that worship and prayer needs to be at the forefront of all we're doing. I think it was like Jay St. John said, they put the worshipers out front, leading into battle. So the worshipers, Israel did. So God told them, put your worshipers out front and send the army after them. So, we have to become more of that type of mindset. So I was seeing a little bit more of that this year, and I'd love to see that grow. Just that focus of it's all for God's glory. And that's the whole reason we're doing this. It's not for me. It's not for the Maddens. It's not for the Hunts. It's not for, well, it's certainly not to make money. It's all because God called us to do it. He has put it on our hearts that we know it is the right thing to do, and therefore we will be obedient and do it. So, and the blessings of the good stuff that comes out of it is just like the reward, right? For all it does. So I think it probably pretty much wraps it up for me. I might interject more later if I think about it.
We get so many people that stop by. One of my primary roles at the convention is to man the chat booth when I'm not running around doing the other things. And the number of people that come up and just say, you have just changed my life. Coming here has changed my life. The dads, I always try and talk to people because again, like Ginger said, we're not doing this for ourselves. Like if we were doing this for ourselves, we'd all be sitting on my back deck drinking coffee and relaxing and just chatting with each other. But so we always want to make sure that like the people we're bringing in and the vendors we're bringing in, that it's really truly serving the homeschool community. And so I always try and ask people, are you having fun? Or have you sat in on any sessions? What are you liking? And I had one dad that was like, I really didn't know what my role was. And I was talking to Jay St. John, and he goes, I get it now. I get it. And he's like, that talk just made me feel so much better. And just that one person to get that information in that moment of that dad that wasn't sure what his role was in homeschooling their family is just just amazing to be able to do that for people. And I'm always just astonished too. You think of the number of people that got on an airplane to come and pour into homeschoolers, or they drove the Answers in Genesis ladies. They were like driving 8 hours back to Kentucky with no giraffes because they left the giraffes behind. But they were driving all the way back to Kentucky, and just the vendors that sent booths and materials and all of that stuff is just to pour into us and to help us pour into other people is just it's just amazing how God orchestrates all of that. It's just so inspiring.
All right. So for me, I have a couple things. I loved the worship. That was a highlight for me. And that was a dream come true for me too. Ever since Jeremy and I started getting involved with helping out, I have hoped for and envisioned what happened at this convention. And it was everything and more. The Lord was in the room. It was just amazing. So that, and then working with my team in person. And I love these people. These are people we are scattered all over multiple states. And when we get to be together and we're all working toward a common goal, and when we get to see it come to fruition and just the camaraderie that's built in our team, if you're looking for a family, come join CHAP, because it really is a family. We love working together and just being able to be shoulder to shoulder, side to side, helping homeschool families, seeing the looks on the attendees' faces as they get it, or they ask a question and we can help them with an answer. That is just, for me, that completely fills my cup. So I just am so thankful for the time that we can be together.
That's something I'll piggyback on. So Steve and I have been involved with CHAP for 13 years now. Steve has run the convention. He's filled that role for a few years. The team this year was just amazing. Like, I was out, Steve was out, pinched nerve. He was kind of a mess. He was in a lot of pain most of the time. And we could rest. Friday, we sat upstairs in the upstairs room with the Snyders, and we just rested because we needed to. And you know what? Everything was just fine. Everything was just fine. This team is amazing. If you want to be part of a team that has an eternal purpose of something that is valuable, and people that, will love you for how God made you, this is an amazing team. And we had one team member, he's been on the team, but hasn't been able to be there in person for a few years. He was able to be there this year, which we were so glad about. But he came in and said, this team is amazing. So God is doing a thing. We've been praying over the overall CHAP team for years, and God is just setting up this amazing, and you three are all part of it. Like, it's just, you guys are all answers to prayer. So I'm just saying out there, you want to be involved with something that has eternal purpose and just brings joy to people's hearts. This is an option for you. It's really amazing.
Ginger, I love that you share that, because I think it's important for the leaders to rest, not only because you need it, but also it also allows you to just kind of sit back, take everything in, and just kind of work on that vision. And also, there's a quote, I think it's John Maxwell, that says, if you're a leader and no one is following you, you're not a leader, you're just taking a walk, right? So when you see that all these people are able to execute, it shows that they were able to look at you and your husband for X amount of years and just say, oh, we know what to do. They've poured into us. So I think it's beautiful to be there and continue to serve over time, but also to be able to delegate and execute, and then even have fresh ideas come in. So I think that's awesome. There's so many things that you all talked about that I want to touch on. I remember at least 2 conventions where Ginger would get on stage and say, all right, what questions do you have? And a bunch of ladies would shoot their hands up. What is my husband supposed to be doing? And to hear you all say that that question has been answered, also from a dad, I think it's beautiful that the dads were able to get poured into and like speak to someone who understands the role of leadership and fatherhood, but also that it wasn't just like women saying, "Oh, your husband should be doing this," because we can't tell you the role of your husband, right? For some people, like I know in my family, my husband is obviously the spiritual leader, but he can be the principal. He'll come to me and say, "Okay, bro, we need to start doing this," and then I execute. And then there are other days where he's more hands-on, where he's like, "Okay, let me work with him on this math problem," or it's we're talking about something and he is sharing from a spiritual perspective. I remember there was a time when the kids and I read The Hobbit and we watched the movie after as a treat. And my husband said, "Ro, pause that." And he spoke to the kids. He said, "What just happened there? Da 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 da." And then broke it down biblically. That was pride. That was poor leadership. And, so he comes in different places, but that may look different in each person's home. So I can't say to someone, "Your husband should be doing this." But I feel like when a man, a pastor, a dad can share, "This is what I've done," then they can kind of take a vision and it's not looking like I'm shaming you or telling you what you should be doing in your home, but you can pick up stuff and the Holy Spirit can kind of speak into your life. So that was a really long way of saying that I'm glad that Jay St. John had that fatherhood dads and donuts talk. I also have to talk about the worship. I walked in and the atmosphere was just so beautiful. Like I literally walked in, I was like rushing from the vendor hall over to the main session, and it was like rushing to just like lifting my hand in praise and worship. It was such a soothing atmosphere. So I'm really glad that we were able to implement that. That's really beautiful on that level, because I know we do it at the midwinter conference, but this was just bigger and more beautiful. So every year we get better and better. I cannot not talk about Heidi St. John, right? So her boldness and how unapologetic she is, like I need that, because there's a place for different personalities, but I don't always need warm and fuzzy. I don't want you to tell me it's okay, it's gonna be okay, because when I go home and it's not okay, then I'm like, okay, you lied to me, right? But when you get up there and you're like, "Listen, it may not always be easy, but God called you to it, so suck it up and do it." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." Right? She is just like you said, Ginger, on fire, and she just calls us back to God. There was even a point at the end when she was like, "Take the summer off," and I'm like, "I homeschool all year." But it was like you're stressing yourself out, you're burning out yourself, you're burning out the kids. Calm down. God did not call you to be an academic sergeant. He called you to disciple these kids, and that doesn't mean doing school all year. So if you choose to do it, you talk to God about it, and that's fine, but you have permission to take it off, right? And then you may be a better mom and teacher coming back. And I love how she talked about comparison. Sometimes you're looking at other families like, "They're doing this, I should be doing that." No, that's a thief of joy. You do what God called you to do and realize that you're a unique family. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the other keynotes, Jeannie. So I went to a workshop session, so not even her keynote session that I'm going to talk about. And it was on 7 steps to choosing curriculum. And whether or not you remember all the steps, the point is it's not about curriculum, it's about character. And I know, like, I've met people and the first question is, "Oh, you homeschool, great, what curriculum do you use?" And in my head I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should try that, maybe I should do that one." And it's not about the shiny object syndrome, like, let's try the new thing, or, "Oh, I need to do that because this is not working." It doesn't matter. When you fall back and you remember your why, you remember that God called you to do this. And the quote about, never let academics get in the way of education. We have to remember that this is spiritual discipline, it's development, it's character, it's all these things. It's not just 1 + 1 is 2. It's so much more than that. So I think it just really helped me to hone in on my purpose of why I'm doing this, and remembering that God has a purpose for my kids that may have nothing to do with math or history or science. So it was a really great reminder.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you were saying there. Two of the new things that happened this year was a bilingual meetup and a grandparent meetup. And so the grandparent meetup, it was very small, but there was a grandma that came. My mom was there because she does help with her homeschool, and another grandma who helps like supplementally, and then another grandma who is doing all the things, and she's really nervous. And this one lady, she homeschooled her 5 kids, and now she's helping her grandkids. But she was so amazing with the life learning. Like they learned through life. It was not about the curriculum. I'm sure they used some, but they were all about the life skills learning, and her kids learned amazing things because they were involved with it, they were interested in it, they were engaged with it, and she allowed it to happen. Like, we as the supervisors, we as the moms need to allow it to happen, or it won't happen. So that's really, really hard, because that feels like a big, like, let it go, beloved release, right? It just feels like a whole big scary thing, but you know, God has it all in his hands, so our kids can, you know, when they're interested, they just really, really learn. So that meetup was really sweet. It was a good connection time. And then Nelly Vizcarrando and Ireda were just amazing. Nelly, her husband was there, he's a pastor, and their girls were there, and her sessions were just really great on Thursday. And then she did the meetup, and actually Ireda said that there was someone who spoke like, I don't know, it was like Hungarian. It wasn't Spanish bilingual. It was like Hungarian and English. And then someone who spoke like Chinese, Spanish, and something else in English, like all these languages. And she's like, oh, I have all these ideas. So, so those are ways I think will probably be growing. But just the support of people who want to know how to do two languages, you know, at the same time, or what does that look like, and that kind of thing. So those were really good things that happened, and people were really encouraged by those things, just being there. And Nellie was wonderful, and they were in the booth mentoring people too, so it was great to have them there. It's fun.
Another great thing that I want to mention was our special needs conference. That I was blown away. I was in the keynote and I asked how many people was this their first time here, and almost the entire room raised their hand. And I was so blessed by that, to know that there are people seeking help in a struggling learner environment. And we are creating this new team that is building up resources for struggling learners in homeschooling. And if you ask me, that is the absolute best place for anyone with any kind of special need, is to be home and learning in their own environment. And I'm so thankful that we got to do that. I'm thankful that Learning RX came, and the Learning Garden. We had a couple really great vendors who were giving so much encouragement, and they came back to us and said, your people need this. They are desperate for it. And we are so glad that that is now part of our convention.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's just do a quick round robin. Like, is there anything else that you want to share? I'll kick us off and just say, you know, New Jersey has had really low regulation, and we're really thankful to the former CHAP, and it's called Enoch, for all that they did, because they allowed us to have freedom for a real long time. Last Thursday, 2 bills popped up. We only knew about one. A lot of parents went down to Trenton. Thank God the bill was withdrawn. And then we found out the following Monday that that same Thursday, another bill was proposed. And this one is a little bit more egregious because it requires an in-person meeting with the district, which also has a health and wellness component to it. So we don't even know like what's going on with that. It hasn't been sent to a committee yet. So we're just praying, you know, doing all the things that we need to do. But also, if you're in Pennsylvania, CHAP has been fighting for you. CHAP has been making sure that, you know, a lot of bad bills don't get passed. So make sure that you stay connected. So I just wanted to share that. If anyone else has anything else to share, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunately, this is something that we've really seen pop up this year. I think, Ginger can speak to being in the homeschool community much longer than what I've been. But I mean, even in just the last 7 years that we've been involved, this year has been unprecedented. The number of states, it's like every other week we're getting another notification of proposed legislation in this state or in that state. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like for Pennsylvania. We anticipate that at some point it'll be our turn too. So that's what is wonderful. to have a state organization, because like Ro was saying, there's not every state is fortunate enough to have a team of people that is watching what's going on and having a relationship with HSLDA and having a relationship with other homeschool leaders. I mean, these ladies on a regular basis are talking to other leaders all over the state, all over the world, and kind of watching, because even though, yes, we have our state law here, what happens in other states does impact what happens in other states. So it's good to know what's going on. So yeah, I'm so excited for New Jersey that Ro is getting that up and running. We had so many New Jersey friends that came in. That's why we do get so many people at chat from these other states, because they don't have this resource where they're at. So yeah, definitely stay connected, because it's all fine and dandy when you don't need it. But when you need it, if you don't have those things established, it's very difficult to handle business if you don't have your business ready. So yeah, definitely stay connected for sure. And I just wanted to say, so Jeannie Fulbright also thought that was amazing. I missed out on a lot of the sessions while we were there because I was busy running around and working. So I'm kind of having my own mini convention here now at home. My kids have camps all this week. So with my earbuds charged, I downloaded all the recordings. And the one fun thing is I can listen to them on double time and triple time. So I get a whole lot of convention in real quick. My husband came up for like lunch at one point and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I listened to this talk and this talk and this talk, and oh my goodness, did you hear this?" So if you did miss convention, download those recordings and you can get that. It's not the same as being in person. It's not, but it is. You still get some of that. And that's Jeannie's talks were so great. I got to see Heidi in person, but a lot of Jeannie's I missed. So yeah, it was, in the special needs stuff was really interesting and helpful. So yeah, definitely listen to that stuff.
Yeah, I just love the mix. I mean, we had a lot of dad stuff and we focused on that in midwinter too. I thought it was really special because that was a request of last year. So, hey, we fulfilled your request, everybody. Let us know in your surveys what you're looking for next year. But Will Estrada talked on it. Todd Hunt talked on it. Jay talked on it. Mark talked on, I mean, they were all talking about the role of fathers in this raising of children. So it was really good. And also the Jay and Heidi St. John marriage episode session was so good. And that's part of the stuff that I want to be there every year because goodness, like they said, if your marriage ain't solid, you can't parent. And if you can't, you can't homeschool. It's that relationship with Jesus and then your relationship with your spouse. It's got to be solid. So their message was so good and it was so fun and we laughed. Oh, their relationship is amazing. And it's just a fact to me that it was amazing to me that the fact that they wrote it on the plane and then gave it like they have been giving it for 20 years. Like just amazing. And that goes to show you the type of relationship they have. Because if you don't got that solid relationship with your spouse, you cannot go on the stage and give something like that that's an immediate back and forth like that. It was just a really good testimony. So yeah, the sessions I was in were really solid and good and got to talk to a lot of people. And it was, again, just being with people. I just don't think we understand what we're missing when you don't go. And just mentally, spiritually, it just does something to fill us up. So again, I'm going back. We've been going for years. I'm going back again.
Yeah, Ginger, I can't not mention Michael Ferris. He was also there and he is just, for me, what was super special is he's this giant in homeschooling. I look up to him and he got so just one-on-one with my son who's going to be going to Patrick Henry. And he sat down and had lunch with him. And he even had a special little mention because Michael Ferris did the graduation ceremony, which was amazing and so filling as a mom. If you have a graduate and you want next year, if you want them to be involved in CHAP's graduation ceremony, be looking for that. We brought it back. We had a 12-year hiatus and we brought it back and it was so wonderful. If you don't already have something established at a co-op, or if you want your kid to be able to be involved in something big and exciting, it was so special. And Michael Ferris is amazing. So get those recordings. If you did not hear all of the talks, he gave some unbelievable sessions as well. And just, I am so filled. And I hope that you all will be too. If you weren't able to be there, you can download the recordings and you can get a little taste of what it was like to be at convention. And that can hopefully propel you to plan ahead and make it a priority for next year.
Ladies, thank you so much for sharing. I did not realize that it has been 12 years since the graduation happened, but I'm really excited that it came back. And I'm really happy that the used curriculum sale was there and in the same building. That was really special and really accessible. Ginger, do you want to close us out and talk about volunteers, how people can reach us, what resources we have, and like just how to connect?
Sure, absolutely. So to connect with us, honestly, if you want to like get all of our links to all of the things, you got to go to our YouTube channel. In the header, you can click the word more and you'll see everything. All of our websites, all of our social media contacts and stuff. So we're CHAP Homeschool Pennsylvania on YouTube, and that's where all of these episodes are. You're probably watching us on YouTube anyway, so that you can connect with us that way. You can write into us at staff@chaponline.com. We also have a contact form at chaponline.com if you want to write questions into us, requests, anything like that. And I believe there's going to be an email going out with a survey if it hasn't gone out already. So be looking in your inbox, possibly your junk folder, because for some reason email systems put CHAP's emails in junk folders. So check those too. We want to hear your feedback about the convention, about what you'd like to see next year. Yeah, and volunteer wise, I mean, there's convention roles, but there's other roles. We're looking for some social media folks. We're looking for people to be out in groups, pointing people to our resources, because we have these great law resources and stuff that are really helpful to people and very clear and concise. We're also looking for a podcast producer, someone who'd like to go through that, or turning the podcast into a blog, those types of things. We're also looking for like a general volunteer, maybe a volunteer coordinator to kind of keep us all connected and on the same page. There's tons of different types of jobs. The convention itself has so many working parts. So there's so many different types of things. There might be things where you're contacting people, but there might be background work where you're just calling and setting up this type of thing. So there's all different types of ways to get involved. And one of the big things actually that would be really helpful, if you have any marketing skills or fundraising skills or those types of things, advertising and advertising manager. I think we do have someone doing it right now. Affiliates, that type of stuff. Any of that kind of that background kind of stuff, connecting with people, getting the word out. We are looking for pretty much, I mean, bring it and we'll figure out where we can plug you in, because there is something for everybody in this size of an organization. So I think that's about it. Ladies, chime in if I've forgotten anything, but yeah.
Legislative team. We're looking to build the legislative team.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. That's Alicia's baby. So yes, and the parts, there's 3 parts to that. People who want to contact legislators and be like, hi, we're CHAP. Tell us when you know anything. People who want to help organize the Capitol Day, and people who are willing to go to their legislators. And that should be, honestly, it should be like all of us, right? But coming up with what is it that families could say and talk to legislators about, like making a script or coming up with topics and disseminating that information out to our CHAP family, and then encouraging them to go out either to Harrisburg or to the local office, but just be the face of homeschooling to these folks that are in office. So that's a big one. I mean, Alicia was talking about that earlier. I mean, the stuff that's going on in Illinois, Virginia, all over the place, that could very easily be in Pennsylvania next week. So we really need to be ready and prepared for what happens. New Jersey, the stuff that's going on in New Jersey. I mean, it's real. It's out there, and there's people who do not like homeschooling. So we have to be ready to defend it. So yeah, join the team, join the CHAP family. We would love to have you. And yeah, I think that probably wraps it up. Did I get it all now? Did I hit it all now, Alicia? Did I miss anything else? So yeah, thanks for coming, everybody who did come. We love to see your smiling faces. And if you didn't come, make plans for next year. We'll let you know as soon as we know what the dates will be. We kind of have to wait on our venues for that type of thing, but it will happen. So keep that in your mind. It will happen. Be looking for it. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have
Awesome.
to say.
All right, it's a wrap.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next time.